Welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Hall of Fame. On behalf of the Hallman George family and the Carnegie family, we're pleased to see everyone here today, and pleased you can all be a part of this celebration of life for the beloved Tom Carnegie.
When I think of Tom, I think of the voice of the 500 like everyone else, and the goosebumps that he would bring me as well as everyone, all the fans. A lot of times people think that being a member of the family, we don't share the same goosebumps as everyone, but we do. And I remember ever since I was little, when we used to play games, riding our bikes around the track and pretending like we were race drivers. I'm not sure, but I think Tony was AJ, and everybody would choose to be a different driver every time. And one of us would always be Tom, the voice of the 500.
I just remember one time when we were driving over before the start of the race, and Greg Jennings, my grandmother's therapist, said, "Mrs. Holman, when are you going to retire Tom Carnegie?" And she said, "Never. Anybody can announce the race, but he has a special privilege of, being the first between us and the fans, and providing that comfort, that level during times of drama and times of excitement. He knew the appropriateness of his position, and I think he shared the burden of knowing that he was in charge of the whole grandstands, that if anything happened, it was really up to Tom to be that even keel and to handle it professionally, and we're all grateful."
The doctors the past couple of years told him to stay away from the speedway. You do not need to be in loud places. You do not need to be around people, and certainly you do not need to be out in the elements where it's very, very hot. I would get these phone calls in the middle of qualifying. Tom Carnegie's out on the plaza. It's currently 96 degrees, and he's out there the past 3 hours signing autographs because he loved people, and he loved all of you, and that's why Tom Carnegie was such a success at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Tom loved to interview the drivers, and so many of them, and they were all his friends. And he lost some of these friends when racing was really dangerous, especially dangerous in the 50s and 60s. But my father had a good rapport with the media and with Tom Carnegie. They got along well. And as a kid, I used to listen with intense to these interviews with Tom, not only my father, Dwayne Carter, my stepfather, but many of the other greats. And finally, I realized when I was interviewed by Tom Carnegie, I'd finally made it to the big stage, to the Indy 500. And that showed me right then and there that my dreams were coming true.
I would like to ask all of you to do me a favor in memory of Tom Carnegie. On the count of 3, I would like all of you to say, "It's a new track record." Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. It's a new track record. Thank you. Tom would have been very proud of you.
All of the phrases that we've come to know and love, they weren't scripted. He developed them himself. I mean, there was no team to decide what he was going to say. It was just off the top of his head, and once in a while one would really work, and so he would develop it. And I thought how amazing it was that this voice that the people know and love and rely on year after year, that just by on the first qualifying day at around 7:45, you'd hear a click and then a hum, and then you'd hear the voice say, "Testing, 1, 2, 3. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen." And the place would just erupt. I thought Carnegie could stir the place up with a sound check. Tom Carnegie, more than any other single human being, was responsible for building the crowds for qualification and then, adding excitement to the race. And probably no greater tribute to him I don't think could be other than look at the crowd that was drawn here with less than 24 hours notice. So thanks for coming, everybody. Thank you. And thank you, Tom Carnegie.
A lot of great memories growing up, and fortunate enough to have been interviewed by him. There's going to be a lot of drivers come through that here in the future that aren't going to really know Tom, and it's going to be up to those of us that are still around to pass on his memories and legacy, and hopefully they play recordings for a while so we don't have to not hear his voice.
Well, I remember coming here as a rookie, and Tom was very gracious, not only myself, but my wife, Leslie, and you felt like you were part of the family. And as a rookie coming here, you're overwhelmed with the Speedway in itself and the speeds that you have to do. And Tom was a little bit of comfort in a way. So I remember that from him, and then all the years of being around him, and he's really an institution here. But, you know, this May, he'll be up there looking at it and looking down, and just one thing he'll be saying to all the guys, you know, he's on it on every restart and on every qualifying. I mean, just that voice you always remember.
Those new drivers coming in, you know, they missed a legacy. They missed, you know, a vital role in our sport and the growth of, you know, the greatest spectacle in the world. So it's my responsibility and those others, Elio, Tony, all those guys, to pass on what Tom meant to our sport.